Good evening, parents and guardians here of Granville Public Schools. I am Brian Mulder, the principal of Oakestown. We are going to get started here in about 45 seconds. Okay, so Q&A. Okay, but you can keep a record in. Okay. All right, we are going to get started officially. My name is Brian Mulder. I'm the principal of Oakestown Intermediate for Granville Public Schools. Tonight, joining me is Stacy Bile. She's our curriculum and engagement specialist, and she has been working with our teachers and students all year to help bring our 7 schools together, including our students. Tonight, I want to thank you so much for being here. Our goal is to give you a quick overview of some of the things to expect for next year when Oakestown opens up officially for the 2024-25 school year. Couple of house cleaning things that I want to let you know. We are recording this here tonight. It will be saved and we will upload it to the website when we're done. We did set this up as a webinar setup, so some of our features are a little bit different than normal. If you have questions, you can use the Q&A, and we're going to monitor those questions throughout. If we see a trend, we'll pause and make sure we answer those, and towards the end, we'll spend the last few minutes trying to answer some of the questions that pop up in the Q&A. Okay, we want to keep it simple and hopefully helpful for all of you. Many of you might have used Zoom before. That raise your hand feature is not going to work here tonight. You can press it, but we're not going to be using it due to the webinar setup that we have. All right, so once again, you have that Q&A. Go ahead and use that for questions. Stacy will be monitoring that. And as questions come in that make sense, we'll go ahead and do that. Our goal is about 25 to 30 minutes here, some base information, and hopefully get you set up for us opening up Oakestown for our future 4th and 5th graders to start up in 5th and 6th grade at Oakestown Elementary, or at Oakestown Intermediate. I'm sorry, I got to get used to that too. First and foremost, we have our website up and running. If you go to the Granville Public Schools website, you can now click on schools and the drop-down menu will give you Oakestown. At that Oakestown website, you'll see about us. We are starting to put some information in there. The slideshow that we're using tonight is linked in there. There's a number of news articles in there. There's also some construction updates that you'll see that have great pictures and let you know what's going on here at Oakestown. I think one of the biggest things to start with is, what are we doing to the building? Well, the majority of the work that we're doing in the building is working on the guts of it. We're adding air conditioning, we're redoing the wiring, putting back together some of those staples that were needed a full update. This building was built in 1950, and there are a lot of parts of it that were still in that range. So our big goal is to change it from what it was as a previous high school and a previous middle school, and make it fit our students in 5th and 6th grade much better. Throughout our slides tonight, you'll see some pictures pop up showing a little bit before and after and what's going on with our building. It's fantastic to see, and we can't wait to show you in August. We have spent this year working on 8 goals that were developed across the board by our Board of Education, our principals, our teachers, our parents, and our students. The past year, we have spent time looking at all the different pieces that take to run a school. And these are our goals that we are working on with your students. One of the biggest ones that we want you to think about as parents is, what does it mean to find that magic in those middle grades? We want this to be the hub, the center of Granville, where our 5th and 6th graders get a chance to explore, try out new things, and take off in their academic learning with that. These have been our guideposts that we have used to keep coming back to put that structure together for our students. We are a work in progress. One of the highlights that just showed up the other day was carpet started showing up in the classroom and some of the furniture started showing up in the hallways that they were putting together. It was a great sign of progress and we're turning the corner. We are on track to be ready and open on time. Our construction superintendents have been on it and making sure that we are staying on task and on progress with our goals to be ready here and hopefully get a chance to hand over the building by the end of July. A lot of people have noticed the construction going on up front. We are putting in a brand new playground. It's going to have a Ninja Warrior feel to it. It's fun to see the different pieces come in there. We are adding a basketball court, a 9-square game, and you'll see the big green area out front. That will also be a part of our recess. A lot of kids have asked, can we just have a big area to be able to go play for a little bit? And that's what we created the green area for. You'll notice that there's going to be football and soccer lines on there and lacrosse lines and all the different sports and practices that are here at night. We get the luxury of using that throughout the day. So we'll have the playground on the south end and we'll have that big green area in the middle. Great picture of it right there, kind of highlighting some of the changes. If you get a chance to check it out, please do. School day. Our day is going to start officially at 7:40 in the morning. That is going to be an early start, and that is going to be a big change. This is one of the things that we worked on about 12 months ago to figure out what made the most sense and how that would work. Working with our transportation, working with all our schools, and looking at our setup, and that was the time that made the most sense. We will be done at 2:35 p.m. Our doors are going to open about 7:15 to 7:20 as our bus drops and our parent drops. We will have a breakfast here. You'll most likely have, similar to the elementary school, of a warm and a cold option. We'd love for our kids to get here, grab their breakfast, and have a chance to hang out for a few minutes. And then at 7:30, our doors open in our classrooms, and our students will be able to start heading down to their classrooms. Our official start is 7:40. So that means our bell at 7:35 means it's time to get to class and be ready to go. When we talk about our setup, one of our goals was to take all of our students, and we know this is going to be a big school, and make it smaller for our students. You're going to see this theme show up throughout. Our students are going to have two main teachers. They'll have one that teaches them math science and one that teaches language arts, and both of those teachers will teach social studies. Our students will switch back and forth between those two teachers. So as you see that and hear that, I want you to think about that. When we know we're going to have about 800 students here, your student is only going to need to really worry about those 55, 56 in those two classrooms. Now, when you look at our bigger setup, you're going to see these pods of 4. You're going to see the red and the green and the blue and the black. Those are simply two sets of teachers. That language arts and that math science teacher partnering together. The 4 teachers come together to create a pod. This helps us organize our building. It helps us move to our enrichment classes. It helps us move to lunch. And it helps us put all those little pieces together and bring in all those different skills and specialties that we do at school with it. So when you look at that big picture, we are going to have 16 fifth grade classrooms. We're going to have 16 sixth grade classrooms. Your child's going to be on that 2-person team and a 4-person team. That'll be about 110 students on that 4-person team. We think that makes it feel a little bit smaller, a little bit easier for our students to be able to manage and travel through pretty successfully. Enrichment classes has been a big question. Is what are we going to have for those enrichment classes? Well, first up, we are having PE. We probably are going to have the best facilities, a double-sized gym. We've got a football field and a track outside. We got tennis courts, and we got tons of green area. So we're very excited about that. Students will get 2 PEs a week, either 40 or 50 minutes, depending on their grade level. They're also going to get art. Our art teacher has the most amazing art room, and we cannot wait to get our kids in there. A lot of art in the elementaries right now is being taught in hallways or shared classrooms. We have a dedicated art room for our students to be able to attend art. We are also in the middle of adding a new class. We have a proposed STEAM class, that's at science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics. That same thing will be for all students. So our fifth graders will have it about 50 minutes a week, and our sixth graders will have it about 40 minutes a week. It's a new class we're in the process of adding and very excited about. Music, that's probably one of the biggest changes across both grade levels that we are going to have. Our music department was able to add 2 musics a week for our fifth grade students. So they're going to get 2 times a week for 40 minutes, which is double what they get now. Our big focus in fifth grade music is not only going to be explore music and learn it, but movement with music and treat it like that opportunity to just have a little bit more fun with the musics and to help our students get introduced to all the different varieties of music out there, especially that band, orchestra, and choir as they go to make those choices for sixth grade. Our sixth grade is now going to have band, orchestra, choir, and general music for them, and it's going to be during the school day. Some of you may know this, for the last 20 years, band, orchestra, and choir for the sixth grade has been at a 0 hour before school. Our students have gone up to the middle school and high school. The big difference now is our teachers are going to come down to us. So our high school, middle school teachers are going to teach the band, orchestra, and choir for our sixth grade students here at Oakestown. We're also going to offer a general music class. We have some students that didn't choose one of those, and they'll have general music. If your child is in general music right now or did not make a band, orchestra, or choir choice, please reach out to me and let me know. There's still a very small amount of time where we can make that change if they are interested in trying out orchestra or choir. The website's on here. It's the best place to go. Our music teachers do a phenomenal job of both coaching, teaching, leading our students, but also organizing their information through their website and through weekly emails to keep you updated.
Mr. Mulder?
Yes.
Can you share about the difference in the ability to take 2 at the same time that they're able to do now?
Yes, I can. That is a very good question. I know that's out there. In the past, because musics were at a 0 hour, one of the things that we did was we did it every other day. So students went Monday, Wednesday, and every other Friday. By us changing it to 4 days a week for 30 minutes, we've added almost 40 minutes of music time onto our week. The one drawback is students have to pick one. They're not able to do 2 of them anymore. We are working with our music department to see if there are options for that once we get through the mid-year. But we are unfortunately stuck where students can only pick one. It was one of the drawbacks that we ran into to be able to offer more consistent time and more of that sixth grade music. We cannot offer 2. So it is something that we are reviewing and watching. Our music teachers are going to evaluate that over the first half of the year. The nice part is with them coming to us and 4 times a week, they're going to get to know your kids a lot faster as instrument players. And we're going to see what we can do. I'm not sure where it goes, but it's something we're definitely keeping an eye on. If that is a very important piece to you, I'm so sorry. Reach out to me and I can fill you in on the background a little bit more with it too. Another piece that we're adding to our schedule is what I call a win time. It's what I need. We see a number of our elementaries doing this. This is going to be a part of our daily schedule. So that pod of 4 teachers and classes each day for 30 minutes are going to have a win time. One of our goals is to get extra supports and be able to add the advancement piece for our students. We'll be working over about 6-week rotation where students will get about 8 or 9 adults, including the 4 core teachers, working with our students. It's also a chance for us to add in those speech and social work services and some of those things that pull our kids out of class. We're able to do it during this time to cut down on the amount of interruptions that might happen in the classroom during our typical elementary day. It's one of our final pieces that we're putting together here in the next 2 weeks, and it's something that we are going to be rolling out next year. And it will be something that we adjust as we go, because as we learn more, we're going to get a little better with it and make it happen. A lot of people have asked, what does the actual student day look like? Well, 290 of those minutes will be for instruction. Enrichment, 5th grade is going to get a 50-minute enrichment block 4 times a week, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. That'll be a combo of PE twice a week, STEAM, that proposed STEAM class, and art And then twice a week, they'll get music for 40 minutes. Our sixth graders are going to get 30 minutes of music 4 days a week, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and 40 minutes of PE, that proposed STEAM class, and art. And then wind time for 30 minutes each day. This will be in addition to their lunchtime. Here's a sample fifth grade schedule. What I really want you to look at, parents, is the colors that run across the board. When you look at that blue color in specials rotation, those are enrichment classes. The nice part is it's going to be the exact same time every single day, 4 days a week. Instead of bouncing around, you're going to know what days, what time your kids have their enrichment classes. Same with lunch and recess. With it. Our sixth grade looks very similar. Their difference is their music class is going to be in the morning for 30 minutes, and their enrichment rotation will be 40 minutes in the afternoon. And that's that blue line. Once again, just notice it's the same time every day where that whole pot of 4 classes go at the same time with it. Hopefully this brings a little consistency with schedules, helps out parents a little bit with organizing appointments and when you've got to be there and take our kids to all the dentists, the doctors, and all the other things that come up. You'll notice Wednesdays, we do not have any enrichment classes. This was by design. One of the things that we're able to now offer is a day where we can do field trips, we can do assemblies, we can do guest speakers. We have a lot of our parents that are connected in different parts of the world that we'd love to come in and have them talk to our kids. We're going to talk a little bit about a house system in a bit. This is a chance to run our house meetings. And there's going to be some Wednesdays where there's just nothing going on and it's bonus academic time for our teachers to get caught up, to do those extra projects or to do those science experiments that might take an hour and a half that they just need more time with it. One side note that I want to point out here is you'll notice in a couple of our pictures at the elementary level, our teachers have to do their science in a classroom with carpet. One of the bonuses that we're going to have with our building is 4 science labs that our 32 teachers are going to be able to check out and go and do. If our 5th grade's doing a science experiment, we're going to be able to get all of them having the same science experiment to be able to go to science labs to get hands-on, get a little more messy, dig into our science and enjoy it and have fun with it. So it's a big perk of this building is we have some of these beautiful open spaces that we're going to be able to take advantage of. We also have 2 big project rooms that many of you have probably been in the past that will be available for our staff to be able to use. Lunch and recess is probably the other big major change from the elementary. We are going to have a 35-minute lunch and recess. This is going to be by grade level. For example, 5th grade the 2 of our pods at 11 o'clock are going to go to lunch. After about 15 minutes, if kids get done eating early, that's part of their recess time. They're going to be able to go right outside to the playground or go to our student lounge entryway area where we'll have a bunch of tables and chairs to be available to use for that lunchtime. At about 15 minutes in, 20 minutes in, the next group of 8 classes are going to come in from 5th grade. So if your child does not see their best friend in their class, they're going to overlap with them at lunch and they can stay in there and hang out with them for another 10 or 15 minutes. We're going to be doing the same thing with 6th grade. We wanted to make sure that our 6th grades, just like our 5th grade, could overlap their lunch times and be able to go out to recess, be able to eat, be able to talk, hang out and enjoy. I think one of the biggest bonuses is with that time being cut down, we're also able to treat the kids a little bit older and no longer hold them in the whole time. Now, on the flip side of that, some students just need that time to relax and they might want to sit in the lunchroom for 25 minutes and talk away and enjoy their food. This gives us the flexibility to treat the 5th and 6th graders as one grade level. Let them get outside if they want to get out there early. Let them stay in and socialize longer if they'd like. The big perk with this is because this is an old high school and old middle school, we have an amazing kitchen here. We're going to be able to serve about 150 students a hot lunch in about 5 minutes. They're going to get about 5 choices most days to pick from. There'll be 2 or 3 warm choices and probably 2 or 3 cold choices depending on the day. Could be a salad, could be a wrap. No more ordering lunch in the morning. Right now, our elementaries, you usually get 2 choices and you got to pick first thing in the morning. Our students are going to be able to get to the lunch line and pick the lunch they want when they get there. Parents, I will tell you, I don't know what the status for lunch is next year, but I would make sure you're in that Meal Magic account and keeping track of what your students are ordering or purchasing through there. If you do have specific questions, our food service is by far the best place to call about lunch options, allergies, and other pieces with that. Their phone number's on here. You can also find their email on the website. A lot of people have asked about transportation also. Our buses are going to be running our system. We will be on that secondary schedule. The bus stops will be very similar to what they are for the elementary. You probably noticed by your house that secondary bus comes through. Same stop is used for the elementary about 45 minutes later. Our district has been moving our sixth graders on the secondary bus for 20 years. Our bus drivers are fantastic. They get it. They know how to do that. They're going to have those fifth and sixth graders separate from the older kids, and it'll work very well. As always, transportation bus assignments will come out in August. We'll go through Power School. So make sure you start checking Power School for your bus time, bus number, and route. If you have questions, email the transportation department. It is by far the way to get the quickest answer. That email will go to 4 or 5 different people, and one of them will jump on your email and get that answered with you for you within 24 hours. Our library, I wish I had a great picture of it. They have gutted the whole thing and getting a full remake. That library is going to be the hub, the center of our building, and it's going to have a great kid-friendly feel to it. The bonus is we are bringing about 4,000 books from our current elementaries. We are moving over here. It is a monster project going on right now by our librarians. If you want to do something nice, go bring a little extra snack to a librarian at your elementary school, because I know the work they're doing right now to get those books pulled, set, ready to move. In addition to that, we're going to purchase almost 4,000 brand new books to have up and ready in August. Our goal is August. This is going to be a little time sensitive. Our books are going to be trickling in here over the summer, so it might be a slow process. Our goal is to add another almost 4,000 books throughout the school year, so we can really hit what those fifth and sixth graders are looking for. I want to lead into our house system, and this is where Stacy Bio is going to jump in. This is something that we are very excited about adding to our fifth and sixth graders. One of our big goals is connections for our students, not only in their classroom, with their teacher, with their team of 2 teachers and their pod of 4, but we want to give reasons and opportunities for our students to reach out across the building, have a little fun with it, be competitive. Stacy, you want to jump in and talk about the house system a little?
I'd be happy to do that. For those of you asking questions, I will get back to that in just a second. And then some of you, if I haven't answered your question, I'm going to have Mr. Mulder answer those questions at the end. All right, so the house system, actually this ties to a few of your questions, especially a lot of you have asked about parent involvement. The house system is actually about creating a culture of belonging and family for all of us. That includes our staff, our students, and our parents. So what's going to happen is our students will be sorted into houses. Our staff is also sorted into houses. And this is happening very early in the school year. And it really creates, West Elementary has been using this system for 5 or 6 years, and it truly changed the culture of the school. The kids were now connecting with kids, not just in their class. So the great part for our students coming from 7 building is that they're going to see more of their friends from their old school, plus meet new friends within their houses. The houses really do create connection. It's about leadership. It's about our students having fun. It's about using our houses to teach a lot of different things. Many of you are familiar with the PBIS, which is our behavior system the district uses. That ties into the house system, but so do parties, so do events. So our holiday parties that have maybe been traditionally like within the class, they might now be a house event, and parents will be more than welcome to help us with our house events. We're also going to try to have events where parents and the houses can get to know each other. So lots of opportunities for parent involvement within the houses, but more than anything, it's about our students feeling they belong, they have people that they connect with. We've seen just a huge difference in kids being able to connect with lots of staff. So even our lunch staff, our custodians, our office staff, everybody's in the houses. And so the kids know these people all throughout the building. And when they see you on a house day wearing shirts, they're like, you're in my house. It really does create a huge opportunity for students to connect, especially we know we only have your students for 2 years. And we feel like the house system is the best way for us to really plug your kids in. Mr. Mulder, is the leadership on the next slide?
Our engagement piece is on the next
Oh, okay.
slide here.
So leadership and engagement kind of go together. So one of the things we really have talked to your students. So Mr. Mulder and I have been in the buildings. We had tons of suggestions from your students about what they would want to see in our building. And one of the things they all said they were going to miss, especially some of our kids, is the opportunity to be safety. So like that's what they associate with being a leader, as being a safety. Now, we probably aren't going to have safeties because our students are not little kids anymore. And, we'll have crossing guards at Wilson, correct, Mr. Mulder?
Yes, yep, we'll
Okay.
have crossing guard on the main Wilson there.
Yeah. So, we don't have little kids who need to be walked to their buses anymore and those types of things. However, within the house system, we have opportunities for countless kids to lead in ways they're passionate about. So some students will get to lead in an artistic way. Some will lead in a actual leadership way. Others that are more into activity and movement, they're going to lead in that way. So the beautiful thing about the house system is it really gives us the opportunity to have our kids have a voice, for us to hear from them. They plan the house meetings with their adults. They get to really tell us what they want to do and what's interesting to them and what motivates them. And that's the big difference between a K-6 building and a 5-6 building. We're now able to do things that really are geared for the 5th, 6th graders, where a lot of times in a K-6 building, we kind of tend to do things that we know the K-3 kids will be successful at. And some of our 5-6 kids are kind of long over it at this point. So we're super excited to bring those things. And then engagement, we've been having our teachers attend trainings about how to increase engagement. And I think one of the misconceptions about our students as they get older is we think they can sit longer. I think we all know that's not true. So one of the things we're really trying to do is find ways to teach our teachers and create more movement and student participation in their learning. We know that when kids move, they're more active, they're more engaged. That's one thing, but it's even our teachers. We're all moving more. And when we move more, the kids are more engaged. So just lots of strategies to get our students super excited about learning and really heighten the enrichment too. So the more engaged our students are, the higher we can take their knowledge. So we're very excited about lots of different options for the house.
Amazing shake.
Do you want me to talk about that?
Yeah.
So those of you who are 5th grade parents that are attending right now, you already know about the Amazing Shake. But for our 4th grade parents, the Amazing Shake is an opportunity for us to teach our students some of those life skills that they just need for success in life. And those are as simple as a handshake, eye contact, the ability to have a conversation, and the ability to engage in the real world. And so you will find out as we start the fall, we're going to jump right into it this fall. Our students learn all these skills and we teach them real world situations. We bring in community leaders. We bring in business situations that are present in our community. We have our students practice what it's like to engage with an adult, to have conversations. We did it this year with all of the 5th and 6th graders, and we just saw such an amazing difference in the way they even interacted with each other. They learned how to have those conversations. They weren't as afraid to walk up to somebody and talk to them. And we're super excited to see our incoming 6th graders practice those skills right away. And they're going to be able to coach up our 5th graders who are currently 4th graders. And then what we do is we have a big competition where students get to put those skills to the test. This year we had 800 some students do it. They did a preliminary competition. 140 moved on to the next role. Then we took our top 20, our top 10, and then we finally had a winner. And our students were able to participate in the Michigan competition with other schools. So you will hear much more about this in the fall.
If you get a chance, or click on the slideshow or go to the website, you'll see that Amazing Shake website. There's some great videos, there's some great highlights. And when parents ask about volunteering, this is one of those events where we need those extra hands to make it happen. For all those that got to participate this year in different ways, you saw that firsthand. It's also a great opportunity for us to connect with our local business owners. So I cannot, I can't even put into words how amazing it was to see some of the businesses that jumped in from Granville and the surrounding area to help out as judges, to support us and sponsor us. And it's what makes this happen. And we couldn't be more lucky to be in Granville and to watch that outpouring of that community support with it. So if you know a business, check out the website, follow up. There's a place to sign up on there. We're always looking for people to volunteer and help us get ready and set for the next year. All right. There's been a number of questions here, and I will do a little bit of a Q&A here in just a minute. I know two of the big ones that have come up here is cell phones. We know a lot of our fifth and sixth graders have cell phones. It's what it is, and we are good with that. The district policy does say that students, when they have a cell phone through eighth grade, that cell phone needs to be in their locker, in their backpack, turned off during the school hours. That's going to be the expectation that we have here. Different bus drivers have different rules, but once they get to school, the phones are off, they're put away. But I also know at the very end of the day, as parents, sometimes we have to send our kids a text or an email or some sort of notification, letting them know how they're getting picked up or how they're getting home that day. We get it at that very end of the day, bell rings, kids need to check their phone real quick to figure out how they're getting home. I get it. But the district cell phone policy will be followed with that piece here, and go from there. The other big question that's come up here quite a bit is all 7 of our buildings do 7 very different things in a lot of different areas. One of those happens to be parent requests for teachers. Because of our unique situation and with all 7 buildings moving to one new building, we do not have parent requests this year. I will tell you for our 6th graders, our future 6th graders, a lot of that's already been done with the scheduling due to band, orchestra, choir, and general music. And for our 5th graders, same thing. Because of the sheer volume and amount of kids that are moving over here, we are not able to accommodate parent requests with that. I do have one other quick thing I want to share. It's our picture frame project. Something that we've been slowly working on here as our teachers are grabbing pictures at different events throughout the year. One of our goals is to collect as many picture frames as we can, and as this year comes to an end, grab as many pictures as we can of students at different events like field days, outside, lunch, group work, whatever it might be, that we could get those printed in August and get them put into picture frames and hanging on our walls. We want our students to know this is their building, this is their school. And we are in the process of pulling that together here. So first and foremost, if you have some of those extra picture frames at home that are still in good shape, but maybe just need a little spray paint, a little makeover, send them into your elementary buildings and they'll get them over to us. We've already collected, I would say, real close to about 150 to 175 picture frames for next year. Second, if any parents are interested, I'll be sending out a flyer with a sign-up form on May 10th. We're going to have a quick 1 hour, pull the frames out, sort through them, see which ones need a quick makeover, and do a little spray paint in the front grass, weather permitting. Our building will be under construction, so no parents will be allowed in the building for that, but we'll be able to do that out in the front lawn. We're also kind of curious if there's any professional photographers out there that would be interested in donating a little bit of time to grab some extra pictures. Some of those candid close-ups in some of our elementary schools. That'll be a part of that same flyer that gets sent out tomorrow to our parents. Then in August, I know I'm going to need volunteers to help out getting these picture frames and putting them up on the wall and making them look really good and really organized and artistic. So that way, when we have our official ribbon cutting ceremony here and our student orientations, that you'll be able to walk in and find a whole bunch of our kid pictures on the wall. This is a good example of what it would look like. This is done at many schools. This was a good example there of where it doesn't matter the frame. They find it, they use it, they get a good picture in there and hang it up on the wall. So this is what the flyer looks like. It'll get out tomorrow. There's a form on there. If you're interested in volunteering, scan the QR code or fill out the form, and I will follow up with more details with that. We also have our Instagram up and running, a Facebook, and a website, and our Amazing Shake website. All these are linked on the slides here on the website. You can also find them in the About Us. They're great ways to find out what's going on. We've been very slow to add information, but we know parents consume their information in different ways, and we want to make sure that we've covered all of those for you. Another big question I know that's come up is, will our students be able to see the school this spring? Unfortunately, no. We're going to be a construction zone through the spring. We will have two, what I would call orientation days, similar to the middle school and high school, that week before school starts, where we'll have a 2-hour block at night from 5 to 7, and we'll have a 2-hour block in the morning from 9 to 11 on 2 different days, that parents can bring their kids up. You'll have your student schedule at that point. You'll be able to go walk around the building. You'll get lost. It's okay. I did a few times here too. But once you get the pattern, you figure it out, this building's really just a circle with a couple fingers sticking off in different directions with classrooms. But it'll give you a chance to get a sneak peek of the building before our opening day. So look for those to come out. We've got it all set up. It'll be that week before school. Like I said, one will be 9 to 11, 9 to 11 in the morning, I believe that Tuesday of that week, and one will be 5 to 7 that Wednesday of that week. We'll have an official open house for our parents to come and meet and greet their teachers. We are waiting a week into school. We will be on the same night as the high school. We will be an hour before the high school. They have a very structured program. Ours is going to be more that pop in at 6, walk and meet and greet, and check out the building. That'll give us a chance to make sure all our teachers are in the building. Just something to keep in mind. We have almost 50 staff packing up rooms, places, stuff. This spring, it gets moved over in the middle of summer, and they don't get access to it until August. So it's going to be a mad scramble at the end for our teachers to get their rooms put together, and they will look amazing. But that's where that official open house will be a weekend this week. So, Stacy, any questions
Yeah,
or
we have
things here that I can answer?
you've answered almost all of them. There are a couple, treehouse was a question, so
Yep,
you wanna
treehouse.
handle that one?
Great question. We won't have before treehouse. I know that. We will start early enough here, where that's not a part of our puzzle. We are actually in communication and working with 2 different partners. The YMCA, we've been a partner with for almost 15 years for the YMCA Impact Program. They run an after-school program for 5th through 8th graders where we bus kids over to the Y. It's a free program. It's part of an application. They are going to open that up May 1st. They have a bunch of flyers ready to go out for parents as one option for after school. We are talking with our in-house treehouse right now. This is one of those variables we are trying to figure out to see if it's a viable option. For those that have been using treehouse, I know the registration went out, I believe, last week. That is a chance for you to voice, hey, we are 100% going to need after school help for an hour or two, depending on work schedules. I get that 5th and 6th graders are in that range where, yep, they can be home, or I'm not sure if they should be home. Fully get that. We're trying to figure out what that option could be with it. So please look for details about the treehouse potential option that we are in the midst of. I know there's actually a pretty group is meeting Monday afternoon to go through that. We'll make sure information is out before the school year ends for your planning purposes.
Mr. Mueller, the gate that is behind our school that West Elementary student neighborhood has been using, is that still going to continue to be an option for students to walk through that way?
Oh, yes, be able to use the walking pathway.
Yeah.
Yep. So a big chunk of that pathway is actually getting refinished and redone along with that piece back there. Any students walking from the back end will be able to use that pathway to get to our school. That's one of those things that had been done by middle schoolers. We think it works well for us. It will be something that we watch and monitor very closely. Go, how's this working? What's the best option? But we are planning on that being a walking option for the west and central neighborhoods coming from that backside.
And then busing, there's a couple questions. One has to do with concerns about 5, 6 with the middle school, high school. Another question was there may be a high school bus stop right by their house, but they live within a mile of our school. So do you want to talk about the 1 mile radius and that?
Yeah, so first of all, there is a 1 mile radius where kids are within 1 mile need to walk to school. I do understand that bus stops at different places, different times show up. There is some unique layers here at the middle school and high school. We get that fully. If you have that specific question about your neighborhood and if that bus stop works for you, please email that transportation email. They have run every simulation possible. They have a real good idea of what it looks like and sounds like from the busing end. They can give you a much better answer than I can on how that layer works in there.
And then could you talk about how community ed being in our building is going to be an opportunity for our students?
Yep. And so that's one of the things that many people don't know is at the north end of our building, typically that entryway you would come in for the auditorium or the pool. We have actually uh, created an office and a multi-purpose room for our community ed. We are really excited about that piece because one of our goals with the district is make this more of the hub for a lot of our community ed events. So when there's a 6-week rainforest activity going on one night a week, or little dogs basketball, or football, or the artist who runs a session for 6 weeks, or some of our teachers have actually talked about running some different opportunities for kids once a week. They'll all run out of this building. There will be some still that run at our elementary schools, depending on what it is and who's involved, but their goal is to move as many of our community ed events over to this building, several of which could be right after school, 1 day a week, which could be a nice perk for our students that it'll get done right about the same time that you're picking up your elementary students or shortly after. We think it provides a better opportunity or a potential opportunity for kids to get involved in some of those after school events that maybe it was really hard to do in the past.
Awesome. I think one thing, just from the vibe from the questions is to talk about our goal to keep our fifth and sixth graders young and that we're not creating a junior high.
Oh my gosh. So we are living in a remodeled high school and a remodeled middle school. And I think that was probably the number one thing our planning team got together and said is make sure this feels like that mid elementary school. And we don't want it to feel like a middle school. We want to feel like that elementary school. But we have two goals. One is to keep our kids younger longer. We want that feeling to be here. We also, at the same time, have an opportunity for our teachers to work together so much more in our academics and be able to push our kids in different ways that just we've never been able to organize and talk and communicate and build on the structures being under one roof. We've done a wonderful job at 7 Elementaries communicating and talking, but being under one roof gives us a much better chance with that. But our goal is not to make middle schoolers. Our goal is to make fifth and sixth graders and focus on what being a fifth and sixth grader means and where they're at developmentally and offer those things that can keep us right in that good range of staying younger longer, but also giving those leadership opportunities and giving those chances for them to start exploring and go, hey, I really am interested in this. What does that sound like? What does that look like? And we think it's a good mix, but I understand the worry. Please know we've done everything we can to make this look a little bit better. And I will tell you throughout the first 6 months of the year, you'll see additions to our building as far as the decor and that feeling showing up as different layers come into play.
Mr. Mulder, recess monitors outside of the students. That will be true at recess, but not in the morning, correct?
So our playground will not be an option in the morning. There will be no one out on the playground in the morning. It's going to be get dropped off, get in, grab breakfast, get down to your homeroom classroom, maybe put away a band orchestra choir or band or orchestra instrument, things like that. But the playground will not be supervised. Kids should not be on that. At lunchtime recess, we will have 2 lunchtime recess monitors out there, one for the playground area, one for the green area. We'll also have extra adults in the lunchroom for that piece. That'll look very similar to the elementary, where we will have specific people out there with that sole purpose.
All right, I think I'm double checking my list. Oh, do you know if there are menus for the lunch when there's that many choices?
Yeah, so very similar to like what the middle school and high school will put out is once we start getting things established, we'll work on that communication, say what we're expecting here to come up. Part of it is going to be trying some different food options for our kids and see what sells and what works there. But we will work on getting that menu out there, so it's by week you have a good idea of what's coming up.
And then one thing a lot of parents asked about was recess being shorter. Do you want to talk about the outdoor opportunities that our teachers will have to use throughout the day?
Yep. So when you look at the school, we have these huge green areas. We have 2 courtyards. We have Buck Creek. We have Wedgewood Park. We have a track. We have a football field. We have all these extra green areas that our teachers going to have access to and be able to get outside more often. The other piece of that is we were able to add a lot more time to those enrichment classes. PE, we've almost doubled our PE time for that exercise, the art, the STEAM, and our musics, with the sole idea of being active and involved classes that our kids can do, because each one has their own space, their own setup, with lots of space for movement and for kids to be active while they're exploring with it. We know cutting down the recess time is a part of our puzzle, but we were able to add it back into active times for our kids.
And then do you know anything about lunch being free next year?
I've heard different things back and forth. I do not have an official answer on that. I know our district, just like last year, will send out information to our parents when we know for sure. And I don't know yet, if it were free for everyone, it'd be the same setup where they get to pick one choice for free. If they wanted to get more in addition to, they'd have to pay for it. If we were back to paying for lunch and breakfast, we would have the set rates set up very similar to what the middle school and high school does.
And then lockers, all students will have a locker.
Yes.
Correct.
Yep. I think if any of you had middle schoolers in the past, they had to share lockers as a part of that piece. As a part of the remodel, we did get new lockers. We have half-size lockers, and we have enough lockers for every student to have their own personal locker.
All right, I believe, let me check for a couple more. Oh yeah, can you talk about how lunch portions are changing because of the age of students in our building?
Oh my gosh. So that was one of the most unique things in talking to our food service is when you're serving kindergarten through 6th graders, you have to somehow find that happy medium between the two ends of the spectrum for age groups. And that sometimes is very tough. One of the first things that came up is, well, we get to have serving sizes that fit 5th and 6th graders, which means yes, they're going to be a little bit bigger, a little bit more proportioned for our students. What does that look like exactly? We haven't had our food service up and open yet, so I can't tell you exactly, but that piece of pizza is going to be a little bit bigger. If mashed potatoes and gravy sticks around, those it will no longer be the ice cream scoop, but the little bit bigger scoop of those mashed potatoes is a good example. The salads will be a little bit bigger, more appropriate for our students. So you can expect that with the lunch and the breakfast, just a little bit bigger portions that fits on.
All right, let me see if we have any other questions. One. Oh, nope, looks like we're good.
Well, I can't tell you all thank you enough for spending a little time with us on Sunday. This will be recorded. We'll get uploaded it for you. There are so many parts and pieces coming together for this school. It is unbelievable to see, and I cannot wait to show it off with all of you come August. We know some things are changing. We know 7 elementaries. There's going to be some things where you go, oh my gosh, I got to leave that behind, or that's different. We get it. Our teachers are going through that. I've gone through that too. We also know there's a lot of new things that we can add to our students in our program that they're going to love even more. So keep looking for us. We have a great planning team that has been guiding us, 11 people from across our district, to make sure that we end as close to what our students need as possible at Oakestown Intermediate. Thank you all. And if you have more questions, my contact information is on the website. Reach out at any time. Have a good night, all.